Hi everyone, I'm Susan Mulvihill and it is potato planting day. It's springtime in the Northwest and I've got a perfect day for planting them in. I have all sorts of tips for you about growing potatoes. I'm going to talk about seed potatoes and why it's so important that you use them, the depth to plant them at, the spacing for them, and I even have a tip on an alternate way for growing potatoes. Growing potatoes is easy and fun once you know the basics. It's important to start with certified seed potatoes, which you can find at garden centers and online because they are certified to be disease-free. You might as well get them off to a good start, right? I purchased organic seed potatoes for my garden. The day before you're ready to plant, or a few hours before, you'll want to cut your seed potatoes into chunks that have at least 2 eyes in them. Those are the little depressions where they'll sprout from. Now these ones got a little ahead of me because I've been waiting for it to be warm enough to plant, but they illustrate the growth shoots that sprout from the eyes. Okay, back to the other photo. Once you've cut them into chunks, place them in a sheltered area on a sheet of newspaper and let them dry out so they'll be less likely to rot in the soil. Or you could do what I do. I buy small seed potatoes and plant them whole. That dramatically decreases the chance of rot, and I've found it has no effect on the size of the potatoes I'll be harvesting from them in the fall. Prepare your bed by loosening the soil to a depth of 10 to 12 inches and add in a bit of organic vegetable fertilizer or compost. Plant your seed potatoes about 6 inches deep and about a foot apart. Now here's an important tip. Once the potatoes are up and growing, mulch all around the plants with shredded leaves or grass clippings from an untreated lawn. This does 3 things. It helps the soil retain moisture, it impedes weed growth, which is always a good thing, and it shelters any potatoes growing at or near the surface from sunlight. If you don't protect them, the potatoes will manufacture a harmful substance called solanine. When you see green on a potato, that's what happened. I promised I'd tell you about an alternate way to grow potatoes, so here it is. You can also use grow bags. This one is called a Smart Pot and has a 20-gallon capacity. You place it wherever you want to grow your potatoes, fill it with about 8 inches of organic potting soil and perhaps some compost or shredded leaves, and then plant your seed potatoes in it. As the plants grow up, keep filling the bag with more potting soil or compost, and you should get a great harvest. I have to tell you, I've never done this before. I've been hearing about the grow bags and been intrigued by them, but this is my first time using one. I put ours in an out-of-the-way place in the garden. My husband Bill added on a little drip hose to the next door bed to water the plants, which will make it really easy. Now, when it comes to watering potatoes, there are different schools of thought. Some folks never irrigate them, and some references say to water them regularly. My best advice to you is to water them lightly and keep an eye on the plants to make sure they're not stressed from lack of water. Also, it's really important not to water the leaves since potatoes are susceptible to different types of diseases, so keep that in mind. When fall gets here, I just love harvesting potatoes. You harvest them when the plants have died back, usually after a frost. It's like digging for buried treasure. After harvest, don't wash them off. Just place them in a dry area out of the sunlight and let the soil dry off of them. Then store them in a cool, dark place. I should also mention that you can harvest a few new potatoes during the summer when the plants are blooming. But don't take too many because you want a good harvest later, right? Happy gardening!